Huh? Make it feel like that. Big paper over here, little nigga. Ain't nobody run shit but me, nigga.
Santina Star Beats.
I don't gotta diss the dead to hurt your feelings. Nigga, I won't be in there with them vulture ceilings. Wanna see what it feel like to live my dreams. Waking up, nigga, nightmares, hit the screams. Niggas got a problem with a nigga like me. Put it on the floor, nigga, show me what it be. Big dog nigga in his motherfucking jungle. Laughing at these niggas while these niggas got a muzzle. I ain't got a boss, I ain't never got a master. Nigga in the streets, I mastered. Laughing at these niggas cause y'all ain't never did it. Now they want a problem, tell them niggas let's get it. Turn the city up when them niggas hear my voice. Matter of fact, they know I'm the fucking people's choice. Tell them niggas let's talk street politics. These niggas dumb, niggas broke, polish shit. Good evening, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm
Good,
great.
good, good.
Everybody, this is Miss Arlene Robinson. She came up um to show up some love, and we appreciate her coming. Miss Robinson, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, and thank you for the invite. I appreciate, the opportunity to be with you on streaming and, just to give some of my background on what
Yeah.
I've done and how I reached the point where I am right now in life.
Well, a lot of people wanted to see you. Like I said, it's a gap between our age group, so the younger crowd might not know you. So I wanted to get you on here so people can get familiar to who you are and what you do for our city. So
Okay.
I just want to basically let people know who you are and how wonderful you are to us.
Yes. I'm all about serving the public. I've done that my whole life since I finished high school. Um, you know, it's just something that I have a passion to do. Um, you know, I'm in my late 60s. I can tell people. So, I get some uh, you know, of the new technology and what have you. I use it. I use it. But I'm not, an expert in it, but I do use technology. I know how to go look and, try to meet up with you, the younger generations, and stay in touch with everything.
So for people that don't know you, um, who are you and what is your role?
Okay. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Jackson. Um, Certainly came up in the 50s and 60s, 70s, born in the late 50s. So, I came up during the movement, the things that were going on then, school segregations, the movement of, the change on the South Side. It begun about the time that I was in high school.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry. And when I began school, I said that wrong. But yeah, in the 60s, we started to see the change on the South Side then. And
Mhm.
so I lived it, but I was young at that time. Um, and so, protected by family, of course, my parents. I came up in a two-parent home. I had older brothers um, that were very protective of me. So, I grew up, even though we were having troubles in the world then too, being
Yeah.
accepted as people of color.
Right.
hmm
Um, so if you weren't in politics, what would you be doing right now?
I really can't picture not being in community service. Okay, politics. Yes, I've been there almost 12 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But I started it with like grassroots organization, nonprofits. But I've served the community all of my adult years,
Mm-hmm.
working in the banking industry. That's public service. So we were serving people in the financial industry with what their needs were from a financial institution. So I've always served the public in one way or the other. But I don't plan on, um, the one thing, I don't plan on not serving until I'm not able to serve.
Yeah.
I'm a life member of the NAACP. I've served in the Business and Professional Women, which is not active right now. However, it still exists. Um, so I just enjoy serving people in whatever
Yeah.
capacity that I have, a background in.
Okay. What is one thing you want the young people in Jackson to know about you that they wouldn't find on Google?
Um, well, I think people tend to think once you get older that you can't relate. Um, but everything that young people are working with and doing now, I've been there. I was a young girl at one time, a young lady, and so I've been around a few corners. I guess I will say it like that. I have served the greater Jackson area uh, since I graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Um, Tell us about growing up in Jackson. Like what was life like for you on the south side?
um, well, born and raised on the South Side, of course. School desegregation happened in my early years of school. Um, you know, things were thriving. We had a lot of the businesses that we would need as a person or family, grocery stores and laundromats and dry cleaners and everything. We had a lot of businesses. I believe we had over 60 some businesses on the south side alone
Yeah.
back in those days. Um, but over the years, things started to uh, close up. People were moving out or moving into different areas to um, serve the public that way. They left the south side of town.
Yeah.
So we gradually saw things decline on the south side during the
Mm-hmm.
years that I went to school. Um, you know, and then the shops and factories, employers, they uprooted from Jackson and moved to, other cities, states, or, you know, um, they moved away, and then we
Yeah.
saw the big crash in the 80s. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Even my father and worked for the Goodyear tire and rubber plant, but he was fortunate enough to be able to retire and not have to move us to Tennessee, where Goodyear went at that time.
Yeah.
So we've sit kind of dormant for many years, and people moved away, and um, businesses moved out, and so and we lost homes. All of those things were going on. So that was the decline. I lived through that.
Okay, so basically all of those businesses that we had, those big businesses we had, they had to the people that was working at them had to relocate to those places to survive it, for their
Yes,
family basically.
yes,
So
yeah.
that was our crash right there.
That was the big crash in the early 1980s. Um, but you know, we have some plants and factories that have moved back in, but they're not in the city portion of Jackson. The Goodyear and Yardman and all of those businesses, they um, they closed shop. So a lot of people had to move, to continue their life and raise their family. So I was fortunate enough that my dad was able to retire at that time.
Okay. Did you vote for any businesses to receive any funding that was outside of our district?
No,
Okay.
no.
Um,
Are you talking about the corridor projects?
I don't know what's in the comments. Dina asked me. Um, what made you step into public service after being in banking for so many years?
Um, well, I consider banking is public service. We were required to service the general public, with opening deposit accounts, giving loans, uh,
Service work.
just all the services that you would look for from a financial institution.
Hmm.
Um, I was appointed manager in the mid 80s. And part of that required that we engaged ourselves in grassroots organizations or nonprofits, uh, being able to engage with our community. And that's an important piece. And that's where I got my uh, got my biggest push to go into things such as the NAACP, being the treasurer of that for many, many years.
Yeah.
And I'm a type of individual that really likes to work my way up,
Hmm.
as an individual in whatever organization I'm in. I like to work my way up the ladder. I did that in banking. I started out as just a general teller, the entry
Right.
level. And when it was all said and done, when I finished up, I was the branch officer, one of their branch officers. They're here in the city of Jackson. So I'm motivated by increasing my knowledge, with hands on or advancing to the next level and advancing to the next level. So that's a personal goal of mine in almost anything that I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to work my way up to the next level at some point. And I take my time. I mean, I take when it's um, an opportunity, I would apply for it, the position, and I ended up being, like I said, the officer of the Comerica Bank. I was one of the first level officers.
Okay. Um, how has Jackson changed since your days in Jackson High School compared to now?
Um, well, we were on the decline in the mid '70s when I graduated from high school.
Hmm.
We were seeing the changes. Large companies and factories were looking to get cheaper labor, is the way I looked at it. They were looking to move where they could pay people less. And I think that's why most of them went south to do that. But, we were in that decline of
Yeah.
things going on that we see now on the south side. It's we were disinvested into for a number of years until we got down to almost basically not having much at all here on the south side of Jackson. But that has changed, I feel.
Yeah.
And within the last 8-10 years, we started to take a look at doing things outside of the downtown area. Most things were going on downtown, and then um, and back in probably 2017, I'll say, being the president of the NAACP, we approached the city about moving, out into the neighborhoods, and it has taken place. We have been working in the neighborhoods a lot more than that used to be.
Yeah. So they said every job seems easy until you have to do it. What has been your biggest obstacle this far?
Um, I really don't think I had any real obstacles because I would take my time. I would watch, I would work in, banking, community groups. I would do my part with what I had knowledge of, and I'd learn what I needed to learn to move to the next level. That's just my motto. I pay attention, take note, learn what I need to learn to advance to the next level in whatever I'm doing.
Okay. You served on the council since 2013, I mean 2013.
Yes.
Um, even vice mayor, right?
Yes.
What are some of the projects you are most proud of?
Well, I'm most proud of because I was one of the individuals that spoke up for moving into the neighborhoods to make the neighborhoods feel like they're
Hmm.
inclusive. Okay. I was one that spoke to like the corridor, uh, developing that similar to what we have downtown, the Department of DDA, where they work with bringing in new businesses, establishing, clean neighborhoods, and, just investing in the community like they do downtown. That's important. The neighborhoods have to feel included in order for, the neighborhood to thrive and to be successful. And I
Hmm.
feel that I was at the forefront of that, even as the NAACP president before 2013. Um, that's when we first started to talk about the upgrades at King Center. King Center's kitchen was in very bad shape. The building needed some repairs. So, we spoke to that as the NAACP president, vice president at that time, Mr. Grayson. We spoke to those things, and they have come to reality. We're not finished with them. It's not something that we could snap our fingers and it's all done overnight. It's a process that uh, has to be followed in order to
Yeah.
make things happen.
What's your biggest plan for when if you win for city council again? What's your
Yeah.
biggest plan for Ward One? What's something big that you're working on for Ward One right now?
Well, my platform right now is food and groceries.
Hmm.
I want to say that, when you become a council member, there's a learning curve. So in 2013, there was a year and a half where, you just have to get the feel and know about all the major things in government. And then certainly you need a mayor that is uh, willing to receive that information along with the city manager. Um, and certainly I feel that uh, Mayor Derek Dobies and City Manager Pat Birch, and now Mayor Mahoney and City Manager Jonathan Green um, have listened.
Yeah.
They've moved things out into the neighborhoods where the neighborhoods, can feel included. I don't know, what else to, say as far as that. I think that's the major thing. The different wards do need to feel like they're included and they're cared about. And I feel I initiated those two things in the last what about 6 8 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So safety and crime. People say Ward One has high poverty and a lot of unsolved murders. How do you plan to address that and bring peace to the South Side again?
Oh, I know there's a lot of single mothers out there, um, And I certainly can relate to that. I was a single mother for several years. I put my best foot forward, and tried to advance. And you know, my children, needed to be cared for, and I was the one that had to provide. So certainly did what I needed to do in my work career to try to make sure that I was able to provide for my children. Um, and I think we have a lot of single mothers, and they need to just take a look at what they have going on, and try to do those things. Work for the best for their children. But it's difficult. I had three children of my own, three boys, and it was tough. But a lot of the ladies today do have more children, so that requires more money. But I really think that the city can, look at the hiring efforts of and businesses. I shouldn't even just say city. The city I think is a good employer, but there are other organizations and businesses that people can find that niche and get in
Yeah.
there and work through it. It's tough, and I can relate to those things. I've been blessed to be able to advance in my career. Um, when I was working as a single mother, but I had to put my best foot forward, and I think that the young ladies today can do the same. But it's hard, uh, for it
Yeah.
to happen. But you have to keep at it. Don't give up. You have to just keep moving forward and make the best. Um, I think you asked me another portion in that question. Um,
Yeah. I said, well, how do you plan to address it basically to bring the
oh,
peace?
well, in the Neighborhood Watch group, I think we need to get those back up and active. We
LaShawn is
do
doing
have,
that right now too.
right, right. Actually, I'm hosting him on October 27th for a meeting to introduce that Neighborhood Watch group to this community. And it's open to the whole city of Jackson. So, and I tend to get people that aren't really in my ward that do come and, just sit in and hear what we have to say on the south side. Um, but I feel that we do need to get the community engaged in what's going on around them. I try to encourage my neighbors and friends and family in the community to, speak up. I mean, that's the only way we're going to get a grip on what's going on. And I know there's some fears in there. People are afraid to say anything because they don't want to be retaliated against. But
Right.
we certainly need to, come together collectively, because a lot of young lives have been lost recently.
Yeah.
Southside has had their fair share. Not every one of them have been on the South Side, but a few have. We've had
So
our
you
share.
so you will be putting a plan together basically, because it's like I said, there's a lot of unsolved murders over there. It's high poverty over there. So to bring peace to the south side, what would be your main focus besides it starting at home? What would be the help from the community? What would be the help from the city on that end?
I think if you see something, say something. Okay, it's just, I know people fear, the retaliation portion of it, but we need to meet with the police force, the chief of police, the group
Yeah.
violence group, and try to help solve some of these issues that are going on. You know,
Because they
it's,
got to be held accountable too. They got to hold us the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody is being cooperative or helping or whatever the case is, um, a lot of people feel like they are distant from the police, or we can't get with the police because they don't feel like it's no bridge right there.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like, you know what I'm saying, they feel like it's a bridge that ain't being gapped. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we do got Chris Simpson coming on to talk about it, but the residents don't feel like there's no connection. There's a disconnect with the city. I mean, residents and the police department.
Right. Right. I think that the police department may want to look for programs. I mean, I would be willing to serve on a board or committee for that, to
Mm.
try to come up with some ideas of how to reach people and how to get people to feel comfortable with like the uncomfortable part of it. I mean, most people, when you say police, they want to say, okay, it's always a negative thing. Let's be positive. They have started a series that they run every summer. I try to make my appearance, especially when they're in Ward 1, try to encourage people to come out and meet them. But we may need to find something else to add to that to get people to feel comfortable enough to speak with the police officer and, neighbors, helping neighbors in some way, so that we can kind of curtail some of the crime that we've seen in the neighborhoods. Get our kids
Okay.
engaged. That's another piece. I mean, there's lots of pieces to it. So, I'm willing to be a part of being a city uh, ward member. People don't
Mhm.
realize how much work goes into that part. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to take the lead on some things because I don't like to fail. I don't like to be wrong, so I really don't want to take on more than I can handle. But certainly know that there's organizations and groups, watch groups. There's so many things that we uh, can get rolling in our neighborhoods. And I think many people might forget about the grassroots. Grassroots groups. The NAACP has almost every type of committee that relates to what we need in the city. So getting people to become active in organizations such as that. We've got daycares. We have. Uh, I don't know, business and professional women. We have the Human Relations Commission. I mean, there's so many things in local government and some of
Yeah.
the grassroots organizations.
Yeah, because Jazz said we need to work on SDOH. Um, that root work is the only way to change things. And people said, Tawana said, police don't help when they put people on blast and paperwork who actually just wanted to help get the criminals, but now their name is plastered everywhere and they being known as a snitch in the community.
Hmm.
Um, Dina also said, what board uh, do you currently serve on at City Hall?
I am on the Human Relations Commission. I'm the liaison for the council with that board. I am on the MLK CIA board, of course, which works with the corridor authority. That's majority of that corridor is in my ward. Um, I think those are the only two, but I do try to support other boards and commissions, you know,
Mm-hmm.
attending their meetings, but, I'm not serving on five or six. I, am the city council member and I serve on two uh, local city boards.
Yeah, and a lot of people say the daycare is charging an arm and a leg to people taking a whole check. Some people said the people that do want to cooperate with the police leave them hanging. Far as protection goes. To
And
switch gears,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we have the Police Oversight Commission. So if you're having a issue like that, you can certainly go to that board and report. whatever your situation is, and they can work through it with the police chief and the deputy chief,
Yeah.
however that process works. I mean, they had a meeting last night. I did go to it, and there were some citizens there. There were the whole board was there, and they certainly you know, are ready and willing to serve and take, issues. If people are having issues with the police department, they certainly can go to that. I voted to support the Police Oversight Commission. They, are individuals that will review the complaint and then move forward. The NAACP does the same. If you have a complaint, you can take it there, and the uh, legal redress committee will address your issue that you're having. So there are several sources that people can go to file a complaint. Human Relations Commission that I'm on, they receive complaints from residents and citizens about many things. How they're treated at a certain restaurant or store. So the
Yeah.
resources are out there. We just need to take
I
advantage
think
of it.
people, yeah, I think people just don't know where the resources is at. I think that's where the lack is at. That people don't know where to get those resources from.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't know where to look. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what would you tell the people? Where would be the best place they could go get all of this information that you're giving out right now?
The city's website. The city has a Facebook. But city website is cityofjackson.org. It's pretty easy. We have a Facebook account. You can reach out to your council person for whatever ward you live in, to get the process and get the next person to contact. Um, and I think there's ward meetings. Um, Ward people set up meetings and try to bring information to the community. The biggest problem there is getting the people to come to those meetings to hear. So, we try our best,
Yeah.
to get the word out to the community. I have a good relationship with my church family. So, I do talk and network with them offline. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, my members of the church come to me and ask the question about something specific that they have going on, and I try to steer them. Um, every day I keep a to-do list of the
Right.
different calls and complaints that people may have in the community, and try to get into the department head. So yeah, you can find all the departments listed. You can also find board members on our website. And most prevalent is your council person. Reach out to them if you're having an issue.
So people say, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, I have contact. I have email. Um, my email address is arobinson@cityofjackson.org. I have a cell phone contact, 517-960-5866. Um, you can text me, that's the cell number, so you can text or call. If I'm not available, just leave me a message. I'm pretty good about calling people back. I don't really have any complaints in that area. But I will follow up with you. Um, I'm just a fixed figure. I've lived in my home for over 40 years. I've been here 40 plus years. So, my address is everywhere. Looking at the Google, or the city website won't give you my address, but I'm reachable. and approachable. I have no problem with people coming to me asking me any questions. You know, I don't like foolishness. I'm old. I don't want to say I'm old, but what I'm saying is, you know, I don't like the games.
Yeah.
I'm pretty serious and very approachable. Um,
Well,
so
Chris Simpson
it's
will be he will be coming up, guys, for the police questions and everything that's going on with that. He will be
hmm
coming on. I think this the end of this week or the beginning of next week he should be on.
okay.
Just to switch gears a little bit, the grocery store. There's
Yes.
been a lot of frustration about the lack of a grocery store in the
Yeah.
South Side.
Yeah.
Um, what's being done about that?
Okay. I first want to say that we're closer than we have been in the last 25 years to having fresh food and groceries here in the south side of Jackson. Okay. We did have some vacant land on Prospect where people are used to finding groceries on the south side. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, so I know we had from Francis Street over on Prospect. I mean, we had grocery stores around this area, but down in the neighborhood. So the piece of property that we had that was available in all hours belonged to us was not interested. People that um, do groceries, they're not interested in the small neighborhood grocery store. They're looking to get their money back, their profit. So, you know, make money because it's a big investment. Uh, but we are closer than we have been in 25 years. We have land on Cooper, south side of Cooper Street, uh, that we own part, consumers own part. The legal piece with the purchasing of that from consumers has taken place. I mean, it's taken place and happened. We still have to remediate that property. That's because there's either um, what we have found is like back in the day when some of the homes were taken down, they
Hmm.
weren't taken to the landfills.
Yeah.
It could be in the ground. Could have been a gas station there.
Hmm.
You know, so the land has to be remediated so it's proper to build on
Uh
and
huh.
safe for our residents here that will be utilizing the store.
Hmm.
So it's in that process. We have a developer that's going to do the draft, the drawing. We have done a rendering of what we would like to see, and that's been on some of my pieces, my not my website, but on the city website. So there's a rendering out there that kind of shows what we have in mind,
Yeah.
but we certainly have a developer ready to do that piece for us. And then, of course, we have spoken with grocers. Um, that's how we know that they want to be outside of the
Yeah.
neighborhood grocery store. So there are people just waiting on us to finish up the legal piece so that they can, bid. And of course, we will
So
do our best to try to,
so is there
select
any
the best one.
so is
hmm
there any reason why is there any reason why it will be in Ward 2 instead of 1, or no, it's not a reason.
Not a major reason other than the fact that the
Location.
grocery stores that have shown interest um don't want to be in a neighborhood. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying, like coming down on Prospect Street, there would be within a neighborhood of residential houses.
Right.
The traffic count is lower. So they want to be where they can actually maintain themselves, you know, recover their investment, and be able to service more than one uh, neighborhood.
because I was always wondering that that lot that we have behind Dollar General.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on Addison, 125 East Addison, at my grandma's.
Uh-huh.
Before the Dollar General was a Rite Aid. Behind that area, that big lot right there, is that about to be used for anything? Why can't we use that for a grocery store? Is it a certain reason for Prospect?
It's a full grocery store wouldn't want to be in that locked down to that size lot.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're talking 1.5 acres. You gotta have parking, you gotta have truck delivery. Okay. I mean, you've gotta have footage in the building to have all the things that you need. So there are a number of factors at the Dollar General, behind Dollar General location, that would limit a grocer from having what they need. And if you go in the store, you want a produce, you want a dairy, you want a meat, you want several sections in there, not miniature. You want
Right.
you want to have enough to service that neighborhood. So those are some of the, disadvantages of that spot. Um, but I have not heard anything from residents about the move. Yes, it is Ward 2,
Yeah.
but it's on the south side of Michigan Avenue. Okay,
And
so that is still considered,
the South
Ward
Side.
2 and Ward 1 do touch.
Right.
Okay, Freddie has the east side of the street. I have the south side or the west side of the street.
Yeah.
Um, what else was I gonna say about that? Um, I just think that it's south side and it's only one block
Mm-hmm.
away from the cutoff for Ward 1. And the people that I have spoken to don't have a problem with driving less than less than a mile and a half
Yeah.
to get to the grocery store. Where right now we're driving 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 miles to get to food. So, one block south of Ward 1, I'm sorry, north of Ward 1 is not has not been a complaint that I've heard, not from
So
any
would
of the
there,
constituents.
well, would it be a corporate funded, or would it be like community funded?
Corporate. It,
Okay.
it's not going to be it's not going to be owned by individuals.
Yeah.
We are looking for a full grocery store to provide all of the groceries that, the fresh food and vegetables that uh, families would want to feed their family.
So
I'm
what?
not saying that the other type won't work in this
Yeah.
area, um, but we have gone with the large full grocery store because we have really basically nothing, a few things at the Dollar
Right.
General store, but we want full groceries, everything that a person would need, from milk to the meats, the vegetables,
Right.
healthy foods and full variety of it. Yes.
Will there be community homes planning to be built, like one bedroom apartments on Prospect Street, where the grocery store was supposed to be at, or is that not true?
I want to say that, you know, there's an executive team of the Corridor Authority. I do not serve on that. I serve on the financial team, okay?
Oh yeah.
But
Well,
I
we're
don't
not answering
serve
no
on.
questions that you not serving on.
Right. So, I can't really say that's not on the table, but
Mm.
King's Community Home is something that Ward 1 has and we've been a part of King's Community Homes as far as geez, for years. Okay. So they're highly invested in this area, and if there's something on the table, it's not at a point where the executive team would be bringing it to the board yet. Now, I do believe that the mayor has addressed it, but he's part of the executive team. I can't speak to that, but I serve on the mini committee, a part of the MLK that handles finances, which fits me because that's what I've done my whole life. I mean, over 47 years. I'll just put it out there. 47 years in the financial industry. So a lot of times people look at me for the financial side of things to be able to, speak to, talk about, because I did it all, commercial loans down to, a personal credit card. So I've done that in my professional career.
Okay. The infrastructure, the roads, the sidewalks, the street lights. Residents say things are unsafe. Where does fixing those rank at on your priority list?
They're on top priority. They're one of my top three: roads, streets, lights. Um, we did a study already on the lighting in this ward.
Hmm.
We do need to keep working towards it. Okay, it's money that we sometimes have to apply for grants to help get it done, but the study has been done on the street lights. Um, so we're working those as we redo roads. There's here and there an opportunity for us to replace the current lighting with the new lighting in some areas. So it's being worked on, but we might have to, like apply for grants and funding from grants from the federal government and the state of Michigan to maybe help boost uh, that process. So it is one of my key um, things listed on my platform,
Yeah.
is roads, streets, lights, the grocery store. I mean, I've lived through this struggle my whole life on the south side. I
Right. Because
was
it's
able
very
to.
dark over there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And some of those are old lights. See, the new lights are going up on MLK Drive. But it's a 2-year project on MLK. We're doing Milwaukee to High, and then it'll next year we'll go from High to South Street. So, the major streets are being done. But
What
a
about
lot
the
of
side
that
streets?
we get funding from the state and federal funds to do those major streets. It's our local streets. That's another one that I'd like to see what we can do. Right now, what's on the table, we're at a point where it could end up being a millage, and then everyone would contribute to that by paying that part of that expense through their taxes. Yeah.
Yeah. So the side streets, will they be able to get lighting, or how is that going to work on the side streets?
Well, the study was done on everything in Ward One.
Okay.
I talked with the city manager probably over a year ago, but we're still working on how we can get the lighting better on the local streets. Yes.
Do you think some of those grants that they gave out, they could have waited on, just to get those, like, them priorities done before giving out those grants, or they didn't come from the same
Um,
place?
well, the people that receive those funds are working on um, their their business establishments. They're working on that. Um, 50,000 is not a lot of money. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you, we work with things like water and sewer repairs and the water plant repairs. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars there. So,
Yeah.
the businesses that are receiving those funds have a business plan in place, a location, and they have either, because there's been two or three that have received it more than one time, that have you know expended the first portion
Yeah.
that they received, and then ran into obstacles, maybe the leak in the water line, or things like that. You never know, but some of these places are older, and even the newer buildings I don't think are built as
Mm-hmm.
well as you know some of the old buildings. I mean, I have 100-year-old home, but you can't throw it together. This wasn't thrown together like some other, places. And I don't mean that as a negative. I'm just saying that, you know, they build them a lot faster and the materials are a lot different. I have the old wood in my home and, stuff like that. So, it's something that people run into problems after they get started. They run into another issue.
Well, um, some folks feel you haven't spoken up enough on certain issues. Um, what do you say to the younger voters that feel disconnected from you?
Well, I'm big on voting. Okay, I've been the president of the NACP for actually 13 years, but the numbers show 12. So be it. I've been a member since 1988. Okay, and I'm now a life member of the organization. But uh, I'm not an individual that shows a lot of emotion visually. Okay. Um, you can't say I haven't spoken up uh, because I don't yell and scream or make a scene for anyone. Uh, we get our agendas for our meetings uh, almost a week ahead of time. Um, when we review that, I address my problems to the or questions to the department head. So you don't always see me doing that because I've done my due diligence on what I feel was important, or what uh, my likes or dislikes of what's going on. So you can't say that, but I'm not a person that's going to make a scene or put anybody on front. That's just not my way of doing things. I
Yeah.
like to uh, be able to go back to that individual, whether it's a department head, our city manager, our mayor, whoever that person may be. I don't want to cross them. Okay,
Right.
not in public, not to embarrass or showboat. I'm not that type of individual. I like peace. And I do like to, ask the question and challenge and whatever and get my questions answered, you know, probably before most meetings. There
Yeah.
are times that I will ask questions. There are things I don't agree with. The single haulers has not been anything that I favored ever. I mean, it was hot on the table when I became council, and I did not, support the. Let me get this right, because sometimes I say it wrong. The single haulers. I like the individual haulers. I mean, because some people that's their source of living.
Yeah.
Okay, the water rate increases. I've been one of the ones that not supported that on every occasion. We do need some. We do need some of the work. And I'd like to see if we could get funding and grants. And I know they do. They do their due diligence. They go out there and look for federal and state funds to try to lower that increase for the homeowners.
Yeah.
And I'm a homeowner, I pay it too. But there are some things that we just can't help. We're working with 100-year-old infrastructures underground. It has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. I mean, lead lines, and you know it's just a number of things that have been kind of kicked down the road
Yeah.
for years before I became council member. And I'm not pointing fingers at any particular term or age or people, but things got kind of pushed off because they didn't want to increase the rates. So now we have to make up for those things because we got a lot more to do. And
Did
that
people actually not have a lease when they got the grants?
people did not have a lease.
Yeah.
Um, that I don't do that portion of it, but
Yeah.
from my understanding, they did.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so I can't
are
really
you one of
get
the
into.
people? Yeah, are you
Are
one of the people that have to sign off on that or no?
No, no,
Okay.
no. We vote on them, and we go for what has been given to us
Mm,
as the board. As far as I know and understand, I trust the committee that reviews it. I mean, we've got regular citizens on the board, uh, the committee that goes over those, and they go through the steps. So I go by what's presented to me. If someone has a challenge, then they would have to go through the process and challenge that.
right.
But what was presented to me, I don't think there was anyone presented to not have
Right.
a lease. Yeah.
Um, what do you want your legacy to be um if your term in 2025?
Well, I feel, you know, I have invested myself um, in the work of government, local government. Um, I've led some or worked right beside, next to, co partner, however you want to word it, with some of the projects. You know, King Center, the renovation of King Center, that came through me as I was crossing between the NACP president, and I was on city council at that time as well. But the upgrade, the renovation of the King Center, um, the MLK corridor, the movement of the city to move out into their neighborhoods to do work. Um, you know, I guess just that I have served this community, and I feel I've served it well.
Yeah.
With what changes we see now, and that we're continuing to make in the south side of Jackson. They are picking up over on the east side, so Freddie's side is coming along behind us with some of the things that we've done. Um, on the corridor here, but reviving the south side, because we've been kind of out of the loop for 40 years, maybe longer, of no investment on the south side. I'm pretty
Right.
darn proud that they're looking at things over here on the south side now. The corridor bringing new business into the area, the street repairs, food and groceries. So, for more than half of my term, we started to see the change on the south side.
The MLK corridor project is big. It's like a big deal for Ward One. What's happening with it though? Like how will it impact the community?
I hope it revives it. I mean, we've lost some residents to outer skirt areas like the townships and the county. We've lost people to those communities, but you can't beat the fact that you started here. You started in Ward 1. And I feel that what we're doing now is to revive this neighborhood for, you know, our friends, family, children, to bring it alive, to thrive. Um, People will want to come here and spend their dollars at the grocery stores. I've heard that. Well, I live over on the west side now, but I would drive over here and support the grocery store. I grew up over here.
Right.
So there are people that are still connected that might not be here, in the living directly in the ward, but I'm hoping that we will get infill houses, uh, more people moving into the neighborhood, beautification, beautification of your property, your
Right.
land, and leaving something for my friends and families to say, oh yeah, we worked with Arlene, or she was a part of this, So, not that I need that, because I don't, I do what I do because it feels good to me.
Right.
Um, uh, but I'm approachable, and I'm very interested in making this portion of the city of Jackson thrive like other neighborhoods are.
Okay. Um, what is gonna be your big plan for you to keep running for the following year? What's gonna be your big plan? Like, what's your main priority going into this next term?
My priorities is on my literature is to see the grocery store uh, up and running, okay, to fix our roads, um, and to revive this whole neighborhood. I want to see us like we used to be,
Yeah.
before we lost a lot with the disinvestment. I want to see us back on our feet, and a ward being able to, hold its own for
Yeah.
its own people. Um,
Do you think
I
that
don't plan
studio?
on going anywhere. I love where I live. I love this community. I have three generations of kids. My kids are like 10 years apart. So I
Yeah.
can relate to the Daniel group. I can relate to, uh, uh, the younger group. I had a younger son, but then I have grandchildren. I want them to be able to be proud of what, grandma did. Uh,
Right.
it's important, and it's just not my family. I don't want to say that. I'm just saying for those generations
That
coming along
generation.
behind me, I'm very adamant. I teach my kids to vote. That's a scary point for me,
Mm-hmm.
because if we get that attitude that our vote doesn't count, where are we going to be? Are we going to allow those that do vote, and I can say other people will vote, if we don't vote our values, then we'll lose them. That's something that um, is so important to me. I just hate the fact that people speak that, and when they say that, as I speak to people along the way, I don't want us to go back to where we used to be, of the
Yeah.
'50s and the '40s. And that I don't want to see. We've come. Um, we've come this far, but we shouldn't allow anybody to take us back to where we were. We're not done yet. The struggle still continues for everybody, for all of us.
What do you think about opening the studio that's at the King Center? Is that one of your plans? Because people wondering what would you do
That's
for the younger generation?
uh, that's an idea that my opponent has. I do know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
The youth are important to me, but it's part of the city building, so I don't know what her golden mission is for that.
Yeah.
And if she's like a grassroots organization that wants to set that up and it happens, I don't have a problem with supporting things for the youth.
Right.
I'm a very open, giving person, try to make sure that our children have, you know, my grandkids could benefit from it, the neighbors' grandkids, or, because I live in a community, there's not a lot of children around here. But, in the community, there's a lot of kids, and if that's something that will benefit the youth, that's all welcome in my book. But I don't know what she has prepared and who she's spoken with at the city, but it's a city-owned building, so
Right.
I think it's probably open to the public to use, and if she's got a program that
I thought
supports
it
our
was still
youth.
open. I thought it was still open. It was young. It was open. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
not too many years ago it was open because I was down there.
right.
But I didn't know when it closed. I haven't been down there, but um, I really don't feel like that's gonna stop too much. You know what I mean? I
Well,
mean that's just me being
it
completely honest.
giving our kids something to do, I'm all for that. I think our
It
kids
got to be
spend
more than
too
that.
that our kids are too enclosed in the home and the videos and the phones, all of
We need to
that.
bring back basketball
Right,
games,
right,
things for them to do, football games where it's free because some of the parents don't have the money to pay for that stuff.
right.
We need to bring back that stuff. Bring back the basketball
Mhm.
camps, bring back the football camps, and let
Mhm.
the kids have something to do. The
Yeah.
studios and all of that, I'm not really. It's not really moving me. I'm with bringing back sports for our kids, bringing back cheerleading for our kids. You know what I'm saying? Getting them ready for that type of stuff, getting tutoring back. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That's what I'm with. You got
Well,
somebody saying,
the Parks and Recreation Department has some of those on recreation side, like they have the recreation basketball team. And the one thing that I miss the most is that two of my boys were baseball, or whatever, baseball for boys, I think. So they played baseball, and they used to have the baseball games at the parks.
yeah,
I still feel that's important to get them to into sports where they can earn and
yeah,
learn and be proud of what they do.
sportsmanship.
Yes, sportsmanship. But and then there's girls cheerleading, um recreation something. They have something like that at City of Jackson Recreation Department. So there are things there. And, I just want to point people to take a
The
minute. The
direction.
webs, yeah, the website leads you to those, but if it's sports, then reach out to the Parks and Recreation Department. If it's
Yeah,
activities at King Center, they have volleyball night and pickleball. I mean, all of
yeah,
those things, and me myself, I always enjoyed the groups that would be there to do dance. I mean, I would go. Most of us were older women, but we it's an activity. There's senior
right.
activities down there. So there are lots of things in the grassroots organizations out here. They used to have youth councils. We have a youth council. So those young people that the city interested in government, we've got a youth council active. They meet, they have meetings right down in City Hall. So, there's lots available. Um, we just need to, I guess, get the word out a little bit better about what we have. But there's a full page pamphlet that Parks and Recreation puts together about the different activities that are available. Because not every kid can make and don't make the high school teams, but take a look at what's recreational and get the kids out. My grandkids, I love to let them get outside and play, get some fresh air, enjoy the outdoors, go to a park. Yeah. So,
Other question you got is the construction that's going on MLK.
mhm.
Um, some people said they live on dead ends and like the in and out, the exit or whatever is kind of messing them up. So what is the way that they can figure out something for that?
I
They
don't
say
understand what you
with the
mean by
roads and
dead ends.
construction,
Uh-huh.
um, what is the plan for those who live on the dead end and don't have the means to enter or exit their residence from MLK on the
Oh,
dead
from
end
the
streets?
yeah, on the project they're supposed to have that access in and out of there. I would ask them to reach out to me, and I'll speak with the the city engineer, I need their location where they feel there's a dead end, because traffic should be able to go north on MLK. There
That's
shouldn't be a point.
I don't think it was. I didn't think it was a point down there. I thought it was the top half. She's
The top
they
half,
he said he said Francis Court is one way in, one way out without doing so much from
uh,
MLK.
well, Francis Court is not in the current construction zone. Francis Court is open to entry. Now, the fact that it's a court, that's the design that was well long before me. So I don't think they're going to create an out on the other end where it dead ends at. Actually, I think there's a house there. Um, but when the construction does happen on that end of MLK,
Hmm.
I don't know how that will work, but I'm certain that they would have to make entry for, an exit for individuals
Yeah.
in that little court there.
Yeah.
Um, but then I think it goes through to the trail. Actually, I think the trail is behind that
Yeah.
house. Yeah, yeah.
So I figured they
Um,
would go. They will open that trail up.
um, they
That's the only
usually
other
try
way.
to make one side of the street open.
Yeah.
And it's very small in there. I know
It's
it's
very small.
just barely can probably get two cars right together side by side. So
Yep.
I'm just thinking that when that piece of construction comes to
They have an
existence,
outlet.
they'll figure it out. That's the engineer's job. That's what he gets paid for, to make sure people have access to and from their homes. They won't shut them out. They won't shut that uh, group of people out of their own driveways or parking
Yeah.
lots. So, yeah,
Y'all have to understand these grants that y'all talking about. If the people are not doing right with their grants, they will be held accountable.
yeah, yeah,
Arlene, that's what you told me.
yeah.
They will be held accountable. They do have keys. They are working on their buildings. Whoever not working on their buildings or not making any progress, that money will be have to be paid back in full. With the taxes that's on top of it that y'all didn't know about. Whoever got the grants, it is taxes on top of that grant.
Yeah.
So that will be paid. That will have to be paid back. But y'all keep shooting at her about these grants. It's not gonna be on them. It's gonna be on the person that received the grant.
That's correct. That's correct. I mean, I I haven't gone through and looked at everybody's project. Some people have done things like to fresh paint and new chairs, or whatever. They've done things that might be not be visible to the exterior or the eye from
Yeah.
outside. Okay. And they all know, they signed the waiver that they're responsible to pay us back if they haven't done what they're supposed to do. So there is uh, I'm lost for the word, but they have to account for what they've received or pay it back. So that will they have a year. I mean, a little over a year, 12, 13, or 14 months or so. Yeah.
So with you being Ward One City Council, are you able to host your own meeting? Like, are you able to put a meeting together and everybody come, or do we got to be a collective?
No, I can do my own. It's individual accountability. We set up our own ward meetings. So, I try. There are things that interfere once in a while. I do try to pull it together.
Hmm.
You get, well, for me, in my ward, most council people say, well, how do you get 20 people there? Okay, so it's like, well, I have some people that follow me, think people I grew up under or grew up with. I do have some following of people that just come because they're in the neighborhood or they want to know. So I generally get, 20, 30 people, depending on the topic. Um, but and once in a while council people put their meetings together, because we touch each ward touches the other ward, um, and so I do try and hold meetings, but most, like the MLK corridor, we have meetings for the public to come and hear. And then it is starting to grow a little bit. Um, we had a meeting the other couple nights ago to announce the people that were getting the grants. So we have other people than the ward person that has and hosts these meetings, um, to talk about what's going on in in a department, like the community development department. They have some of their own meetings sometimes, so we have to just pay attention to what is being held by others. And I don't have a problem with people making a suggestion on what they'd like to hear from City Hall. um, and I think that, if you want something specifically, give me a shout out, give me a call, text me. I'll be more than happy to try to put that together.
Well, y'all heard it from her. Are you gonna have any meetings before everybody has to vote? Dina said she wanted to know if you're gonna have why you haven't held a discussion about the $1 million asset for the road construction and many property owners affected.
The
Um,
$1 million asset.
yeah, and she said the MLKCIA is an award meeting.
It's not a ward meeting. A ward meeting is
She said
pretty
the
much
one
no
million
different.
dollar the $1 million assessment for the road construction. Are you gonna have a meeting for that or no?
I guess I'm not clear on what she's asking me. I know that she has published about the $1 million that she saved for the residents. We've already had that discussion.
Okay,
That's
because
a
that's what
done
she was
deal.
talking
I
about.
mean, it's done. We did not assess the people that live on MLK,
Yeah,
right? But
she
that,
said, "Will you have one about the grocery store?"
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm sorry,
She
Tanisha.
said, "Why haven't you had one about the grocery store? Will you have one then or no?"
When we have something more concrete to give, yes. Right now, I mean, we knew that the land was owned by uh, city and consumers. I really
Yeah,
don't have any definite anything to report out to residents. All I can say is we're closer to having the food and groceries in this area, the south side, than we have been in 25 years. But things don't happen overnight. And until we have everyone's signature on the dotted line and, uh, you know, confirmation, and the whoever the developer is or the investor is are
yeah,
ready to sign on the dotted line, there's not going to be a whole lot to say right now.
right.
Right. We
Well,
we can't disclose things that are not contracted. It's got
right.
to be contracted. It's got to be signed for. Then we can discuss it. But yeah, I do plan on having more meetings around the grocery store when I have something more to give.
What's one call to action you want the young people to take from this conversation?
Well, I would like to see more young people get involved in either group, grassroots groups, their school um, uh, groups, and whatever civics, all of those things that they have in school, government. I'd like to see children get involved in that. I would like to see them, be interested in the city council youth group. The Parkside has a youth group. Uh, some of the other groups, there are many groups to get engaged in, and I really feel we need to engage children in the junior high age group, because I think by the time we get to Jackson High, there's been some exposure to some things that you know that don't necessarily play into how do you become a good citizen, how do you become a better person, or how do you showcase what you have as
Right,
young people, show people what you've got. I
right.
mean, kids can be a part of grassroots groups, and I think grassroots groups and nonprofits that work with youth can be a help to the city of Jackson by engaging their kids. Some
Yeah,
do, and other ones don't have a youth group. So, I helped establish the Parkside Excellence Group with Jeremy,
yeah,
years ago. I mean, I was part of the NACP, and the NACP's, connected with them now. So I just think we need to encourage our kids to get involved and to let their voices be heard. I'd love to hear from more youth on what they'd like
yeah.
to see, or what they would, want to do, or what they'd like added to the park. Different things like that. I'd love to hear from kids. As I said,
We put
I'm quite approachable.
yeah. We
There's
putting
not,
something together with the youth right now, so we would love for you to come out so people can get acquainted with you, see your face, understand what you trying
mm-hmm,
to push forward
yeah,
with your
yeah,
next term. We want you to come out and get engaged with everybody. We want everybody to understand and see who you are. We appreciate you for coming on.
yes,
Um, you've been great. You didn't answer most of all the questions. You know what I'm saying? We really appreciate you, but um, I hope you have a great term. I
yeah.
hope you.
I loved what I do, and I've loved serving the people for so many years. I mean, it goes
Yeah,
back to when I started at the bank. I just
right.
love I loved helping people. That's me. Yep.
Well, a lot of people got questions for you. She dropped her phone number. She dropped her email.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is on here. Run the video back if you missed it. She stay in contact. She answered the phone. She very reachable. If anybody have any questions, contact her. Like I said,
Thanks.
she accepted me with open arms. She accepted my invitation, and I'm greatly appreciated for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, it was so fun having you up here. You you know I'm gonna call you again because we got to do the
That's
interview
okay.
about
Yeah.
your real life. We want to know about your life experience and not just about politics and everything else. We want to get to know you personally. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to have you back up here.
Yeah. Okay. I'd love
And
to come back, and I thank you for, the interview. Looking forward to networking with people, and hopefully, I know you have a big group of individuals that follow you. So, reach out. I don't have a problem with responding, or trying to be a help where I can. That's my job. That's what I do.
okay, Give me your number one more time so I can put it on here. I got it in my phone, but I'm putting it in the comments because they asked what is it in the comments.
Okay. 517-960-5866. And that's, it's a cell number, so you can text or call. And then I have a city email too, which is arobinson@cityofjackson.org.
All right. It's in the comments, y'all.
Okay, great.
It's right in there. Y'all can get it. I appreciate you so much. Again, a round of applause. I appreciate you. I thank you. And I can't wait to see the outcome of this term. Ward 1 forever, Southside. We love you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.